All right, let's jump right into this. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder what keeps an entire nation's economy from just spinning completely out of control? I mean, it's a massive system. Well, it turns out there's this fascinating, kind of hidden mechanism at play. It's the concept of a perfectly balanced economy, which economists officially call equilibrium output. Today, in this explainer, we're going to see exactly how this delicate balance is achieved using something known as the savings investment approach. To really wrap our heads around this, I want you to picture an economy as a giant seesaw. It's constantly shifting, moving up and down, always seeking that perfect, stable state of balance. But what exactly are the weights sitting on either end of this seesaw? What is it that truly balances out a nation's total output and income? Is it just random luck? Well, definitely not. Let's dig into the theory to find out exactly how this balancing act works.
So, the absolute golden rule we are exploring here is called equilibrium national income. And simply put, this is the exact specific level where planned investment, which we just represent with a capital I, perfectly equals planned saving, represented by an S. So S equals I. A truly stable national economy only exists when these two specific forces match up perfectly. And here's the crucial part. We are talking about planned saving and investment, not necessarily what actually happens by accident at the end of the year, but what households and firms intend to do.
To really see this in action, we can visualize it like a dynamic economic dashboard, plotting national income along the bottom and our desired saving and investment levels going up the side. This is where the magic of the S equals I approach actually comes to life. It gives us a clear playing field to see how these two massive macroeconomic forces interact with each other as income changes.
Now, notice the stark contrast between our two main players here. First, think about the investment line, the I. It's perfectly flat and steady. Why? Because in this specific model, we assume investment is autonomous. That just means firms plan to invest a set amount, and it doesn't change based on the current level of national income. It just stays flat. But then compare that to the saving curve, the S. As national income grows, households naturally want to save more of it, right? So that saving line slopes upward. So the stage is set. We've got a constant, flat investment line going head-to-head with a rising saving curve.
And right where those two lines cross, let's call it point E, that is our sweet spot. That precise intersection is the perfect equilibrium income level, which we'll label as OY0. At this exact spot, the amount of money households are planning to save perfectly matches the amount of money firms are planning to invest. The economy is in total harmony. Aggregate demand equals aggregate supply, meaning whatever producers desire to make is exactly what consumers desire to buy.
But, the real world is messy. What happens if the seesaw tips? Let's explore our first disequilibrium scenario. Imagine the economy gets pulled way out of balance to a much higher income level, which we can call OY1. How exactly does the whole economic system react when we push way past that perfect center point?
Well, if we shift our focus over to that higher income level OY1, you'll immediately spot something critical. That upward sloping saving curve is now physically higher than the flat investment line. Planned saving now exceeds planned investment. We've suddenly got a gap between the two. Let's call it gap AB. S is greater than I.
So let's translate that gap into everyday reality. If planned saving is greater than planned investment, it basically means people are holding on to their cash. Overall spending is low, and because people aren't buying as much stuff, unsold goods just start gathering dust in warehouses. Think mountains of unsold fidget spinners or surplus winter coats. Inventories are just piling up everywhere. So, what do businesses naturally do when they can't sell their products? They cut production. They start handing out layoff notices, and as people lose hours or lose their jobs entirely, the national income drops. The economic rubber band snaps back, pulling income all the way down until it returns right back to that balanced OI0 equilibrium.
Okay, so let's pivot to the opposite extreme. We've just seen what happens when income is too high, but what occurs when the economic seesaw tips completely the other way, dropping to a lower income level? Let's call this new lower level OY2.
At this lower income level, the situation completely reverses itself. Now the planned investment line is sitting above the savings curve. Firms are planning to invest more than households are planning to save. I is greater than S. This creates a brand new imbalance, a new vertical gap between the lines that we can call gap GH.
And the real-world impact of this gap is absolute frenzy. Low savings mean incredibly high consumption. People are out there spending everything they have.
Demand for goods is so wildly high that it totally exceeds current production. Store shelves are emptying out fast, like a grocery store right before a massive snowstorm. Businesses are looking at their rapidly dropping inventories and they are scrambling. So what's their move? They hang "now hiring" signs in every window. They furiously expand production to try and catch up with this massive demand. And as they hire more workers and crank up production, national income naturally rises. The economy stretches back up, climbing right back to our original center point, OY0.
Honestly, this is the absolute beauty of the macroeconomic system. The crucial takeaway here is that market forces act exactly like gravity. If there is excess saving, the economy naturally contracts through reduced production and layoffs. But if there is excess investment, the economy naturally expands through increased production and hiring. Whether we start off too high or too low, this incredible built-in mechanism naturally corrects the imbalances, always pulling the economy back to its center point where planned saving exactly equals planned investment.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? We've just seen how perfectly this model corrects itself under normal, somewhat predictable conditions. But I want to leave you with this provocative thought. What if a massive, totally unexpected global crisis suddenly caused everyone, all at once, to just panic and hoard their savings out of fear? Just how violently would our economic seesaw tip before this so-called gravity could actually catch it? It's a fascinating question, and really, it's exactly why understanding these core macroeconomic concepts is so absolutely vital. Thanks for exploring the S equals I approach with me today. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.